Alright, this is Big Boss with Foxhound Woods Ball coming to you from Fort Lauderdale and from my blog page at outerheavenpaintball.blogspot.com. First off, I'd like to apologize for the time it took to do this response. I've been rather busy as of late with work, family, and it's been a little bit of a nightmare trying to balance everything. And aside from that, it's, I've also wanted to try and take the time to try to prepare what I'm going to say for this video. Now, about a couple months back, I did a video talking about a now dead social media movement called Paintballs Up, Guns Down, or Paintball Wars, that was kicked off by a rapper named 21 Savage from Atlanta. And quite frankly, it got the attention of the news, it got the attention of a lot of people, and it was on Vice News. I can't believe I'm even mentioning them considering how left they are on some things, but fuck it. Now, I figured, yeah, I said my piece, end of story, but sadly, the comments that I got after that video came out were rather ignorance fueled, and quite frankly, instead of engaging in a comment fight with them, I decided to just drop it and return to it when I could, and sadly that's right now due to a few things. But I will say that the comments were the most idiotic things. I'll explain it as I go through the video, but in response to some of those comments, I decided to prove a point a little bit back with a little bit of a public service announcement. So let's break for that, and I'll be back in a second.
Go back.
Bye, you got it? Good. Go, 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 go. Go. Yo! Stop, go!
And my roommate and I looked at each other like, did we just witness a shooting, a drive-by?
All new at 6 tonight, it's a different form of gun violence hitting the streets of the Queen City. And tonight, neighbors are expressing concern because they've witnessed this big paintball war that's going on out there, apparently. And they tell 7 Eyewitness News reporter Hannah Bueller that it's hard to tell the difference between a paint gun and a real gun.
Across the country are trying to stop the so-called paintball wars. It was supposed to be an alternative to gun violence, but now it's turning deadly in some cases. Here in Atlanta, the paintball wars played a role in the death of a 3-year-old boy shot and killed in the back seat of his mother's car.
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
How much packing you got in that? Is that karma?
Okay, now we're back, and hopefully the PSA was a good one. Now, doing that, I used some stuff that I used in my other video on Paintballs Up, Guns Down from 21 Savage and some of his friends that got involved in that because I found it on YouTube. Now, aside from that, here's the thing. As much as I take a lot of the comments in stride, either they're good, some of them are constructive, these ones were ignorant beyond belief, and it boggles my mind how people could be so idiotic, and I'm not even sure how I can describe it, because I've tried to be as blunt and to the point as I can, yet some of the comments were, I'm not sure if I said something wrong or they took something wrong, those who made the comments, but a lot of it was racist. And one, I'm not a racist. Two, if you know me, then you know I am the least racist person as far as the paintball community goes. Now, I'm going to show you those comments on my screen. I got that punched up right now, so I'll be doing that right now, and give me 1 second on that. Let me try and switch over. Okay, just to show you what I'm talking about, got the video pulled up, as you can see right down here. Paintballs Up, Guns Down, my little editorial. Be moving down, and here are those comments I was referring to. Now, as you can see the level of idiocy involved in them, I'll be going down the line and trying to give my responses to these videos. So let me switch over again. Okay, time for the little responses to these videos, and first up is somebody called Steve Frost. Now, he says they're just trying to replace the guns that plague their community with paintball. Take a step back and stop with the race baiting. Maybe go outside for once and stop making videos that look like white supremacist manifestos. Wow. Talk about the most unoriginal comment as far as this goes. Now, considering that some of these areas are high crime rates because of street gangs, drug trade, and all that crap, I can understand people not wanting to have guns. I really do. But at the same time, with something like that, and considering how many paintball guns, even the tournament guns, at a cursory glance from a distance, people consider them firearms, and they will call the cops. Now, considering that, do you really want to be playing paintball in the street when there's a chance that you can be shot by somebody, either a concealed carry permit holder or maybe even the cops? If people call and there's a police call out, somebody doesn't put down the paintball gun when told to by the cop, or if they even point that thing in the direction of a cop, first instinct to that cop is that he's got to protect himself, their partner, and those around them. So first instinct is going right for their gun and getting the shot off before anything happens. So why risk an officer involved shooting? Not to mention the emotional and psychological effects on that cop if they decide, if in that circumstance they feel threatened and pull the trigger. There is that consideration. And to finish up, race baiting, I'm not race baiting for one, because I know a lot of paintball players that are black. I've known paintball players that are Hispanic. I know paintball players that are part of the LGBT community. So I have a good if not the highest amount of respect for them. One, paintball community, we're all inclusive. Anybody who wants to play the sport, come on in. The more the merrier. So, with that being said, we are politically incorrect by nature. I'm not going to dispute that one tiny bit, but I find it funny, if not pathetic, that the second he heard me use the term hood rat in my video or read it in the article that I wrote on the matter, one, I was not using hood rat in a racial terminology. I was using it as a general term for stupid, ignorant people who are acting like a fool in the city or in a neighborhood, and the term hood rat can apply to anybody regardless of their race, ethnicity, nationality, sexual preferences, socio-political background, or socioeconomic background. It doesn't matter. If you are running around the streets acting like a fool, you are a hood rat by definition. Now, last bit on this guy, maybe go outside for once and stop making videos that look like white supremacist manifestos. One, I work a lot to support the family I've got. So I do technically get out when I can, considering everything. I'm not going into details on my personal life to satisfy anyone. And call my work that I do as far as videos white supremacist manifestos. I work on a limited budget. I'm not going to deny that. It's anything that I can hook up with whatever I got to try to articulate what I'm trying to show as far as my videos. That's not a white supremacist manifesto, and I don't get where he came up with that concept just by looking at one video. So that kind of argument has no bearing on it and virtually no legs to sit on. So moving on, the other person, Daniel Waters. Steve Frost personally agrees paintball safety too, but this guy needs to shut the fuck up. Stupidity or not, this might just save some lives. Wow. The mental gymnastics around this argument is just compelling. Because, yeah, it is stupidity for people to shoot at each other with paintball guns in the street in crowded areas. Now, how can it save some lives if there's a police call out and somebody gets shot by the cops? Or, considering how some of these videos that you can find on YouTube on this matter are done in areas with high crime rates, consider the fact that if there's some guys from a different group and these guys are acting like fools and they're shooting paintball guns around and their car gets hit, those guys aren't going to say, hey, it's paintball, leave it at that. No, they're probably going to pull real guns and start shooting bullets. So there's some food for thought on that, on the stupidity of the argument of how this could save some lives. Now, other than that, we also got to look at it this way. In some states, cities, municipalities, and whatnot, hitting somebody's car with paintballs, that's considered vandalism, criminal mischief at the least. Other states would consider this as felony vandalism, or if you shoot people with it who aren't participating in these little paintball wars, that can range into some very serious shit. We're talking assault, aggravated assault with a weapon, and so on and so forth. And in some states, those are some pretty serious felonies. And in other states, even if you shoot somebody with a paintball gun, they'll treat it as a firearm under city codes, criminal codes, you name it. And you'll be up for prosecution. So, yeah, it's stupid and it's also illegal. So, how how can somebody sit back and try and justify stupidity like that? I don't get it, considering that the evidence is right there about a 3-year-old kid getting killed by a 15-year-old punk who got shot at with paintballs, and inadvertently that kid pulls a gun, starts shooting at the guys that were playing paintball in the street, ends up going through the door of an SUV and killing a 3-year-old child. There's another story about a 19-year-old that got shot because of this kind of stuff. So, how do you justify that? Seriously. Now, this one comment from Meerkat, out of the people that did comment on my video for that paintballs up, guns down thing, Meerkat is actually a voice of reason. He's actually somebody who understands this in a lot of ways, and for that, if Meerkat is watching, I'd like to thank you. His comment reads, "There's nothing wrong with playing paintball instead of using real steel to settle debates, disagreements. Do it in a controlled environment. There's plenty of paintball fields dotted across the U.S. for these guys to go and play. Find a vacant house and play there anyway, from pedestrians and their personal property, or even a good bit of woods away from residential areas." Now, yeah, that is definitely one of the smartest comments I've heard on this particular video, and quite frankly, he's right. Even though a lot of people in the mainstream paintball industry aren't big fans of outlaw style paintball, it's actually a whole hell of a lot safer than playing in a densely packed urban environment where there are people who aren't playing around that could get shot, and if you're playing outlaw, there's little chance that the cops are going to come and shoot you for running around the woods with something that looks like a firearm. It's common sense right there. Now, the last comment that I want to get to, this is from somebody called Nun Nun, and the name is actually quite fitting, to be perfectly honest. I would say factors which he has none of: common sense and rudimentary intelligence on the matter. None on both counts. So the name Nun Nun is fitting. His comment reads, "Outer Heaven Paintball, shut the fuck up, brah. I bet a lot of people didn't get killed because of this. You hate for any black people to have fun, you fucking cracker." Wow. Without even knowing me, without even understanding the context of what I was trying to do in my last video, automatically throws the race card out. I wonder who his gender studies or social justice professor is. Now, I'm not going to get into that bullshit right now. That's for another rant video entirely. Maybe a later thing on social commentary. But with that out of the way, as a thing to his comments, as I said prior in this video, I'm not a racist. 2, he already lost his argument when he called me a cracker because I didn't drop the N-bomb in any of my videos or in my video on this now dead social movement. Aside from that, yeah, people have been killed because of this. If he even took the time to watch the video and to even try and understand. One 19-year-old got shot. I think he's dead now, but I'm not sure about that one. I do know a 3-year-old kid was killed as a result of this. So, with that being said, the people who made these comments, either they're fucking stupid, which assuming they are, Not sure if their parents were related before they were married, but I'm not going there. Other than that, the two people, Nun and Steve Frost, they actually showed they were the racists because, one, they threw the comment at me when I didn't even use any racial epithets in that last video, and two, the second you have to play the race card or play any of those kind of cards, from the victim card to disadvantage card, to try to make an argument in the face of overwhelming facts, your argument is dead. Easy as that. Now, I apologize for the rant because I felt the need to vent on this because, as I said, ignorance is the social cancer of Western civilization, and from these comments I've received on this video, it just reaffirms that. Now, with the exception to Meerkat, I would say the guys that left the negative comments, they didn't really have a dog in the fight to begin with, because one, I looked at all their channels. They have no video content of their own, let alone anything paintball related. So, aside from that, they were talking out of their assholes. So, for those comments, overall, I'd probably like to just say a big fuck you, but I'm probably not going to do that. And as I said, there's so many things that the paintball community has strived for, and we don't want to lose any of that because of an opportunistic politician wanting to put in laws or regulate our sport that we've been able to take care of for the past 30 years because of some morons deciding to shoot paintball guns off in a crowded street or in a neighborhood somewhere. We don't want that bullshit. And because of little fuckheads that want to do it out in the streets, that doesn't represent the paintball community or the people that play it whatsoever. Now, you can catch a written version of this over at outerheavenpaintball.blogspot.com. I will post a link in the description to this video. Also, don't forget to check out Outer Heaven Paintball on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to stay updated to the latest video content as well as latest articles. Anyway, this is Big Boss, and I'm out of here.